everyone, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel, and this is another book haul video. When I created this channel, I could not imagine that book hauls will be the most frequent type of video here, but this is how it is, and I'm not disappointed because I love buying new books. This video is going to be an ultimate Ukrainian edition book haul. Of course, I will add the picture of an English edition for you to recognize the book easier. I got this package the day before yesterday, and I was, please believe me, trying my best not to open the box because I wanted to do it together with you to show you the emotions when I do that, but spoiler, I could not. I was too impatient, so I did open the box and all the books are unboxed here. But anyway, I really want to show you them because I am excited to read them. And I was looking at my bookshelf yesterday and I realized I really want to read every single book on my bookshelf so much that it's a bit overwhelming because of course I don't have enough time for that, and as I want to read physical books, not the ebooks, and not listening to audiobooks, it's even harder. Maybe one day I will finish my physical TBR. Probably not. Anyway, let's get started because I really want to show you all of the beauty I have on this table. The first book is definitely one of the most beautiful ones I have on my shelves, but I don't know a single thing about this book. I was just watching a video on Nikel's Nook booktube channel where she was reading that book in one of her vlogs, and her emotions just hit me. When she was telling about it and when I saw what she was feeling, I realized I needed that book because I wanted to be wrecked. In the previous video, I said that I am looking for a book that will emotionally wreck me, and I think this is that book. It's called Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I know only that this is kind of a retelling of David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I read one book by Charles Dickens and I didn't like it, and I never wanted to read David Copperfield, but this one, I needed it. When I saw it in the vlog, I was looking for it in English edition, but it's pretty thick, so I realized I'm not gonna read it in English. And then I started to search for it in my Ukrainian store, and I found it. And when I saw this cover, this was the second time I realized I really needed that book. Please, just look how stunning it is. It's just, oh my God. I love it. I really love it. Let's read the blurb together because I need to know at least something about this book. Barbara Kingsolver is a winner of a Pulitzer Prize, a winner of the Women's Prize for Fiction. This book is New York Times Readers' Peak Top 100 Books of the 21st Century, an Oprah's Book Club selection, an Eastern New York Times bestseller, and all those things. Set in the mountains of southern Appalachia, Demon Copperhead is the story of a boy born to a teenaged single mother in a single white trailer with no assets beyond his dead father's good looks and copperhead-colored hair, a caustic wit, and a fierce talent for survival. Relayed in his own unsparing voice, Demon braves the modern perils of foster care, child labor, derelict schools, athletic success, addiction, disastrous loves, and crushing losses. Through all of it, he reckons with his own invisibility in a popular culture where even the superheroes have abandoned rural people in favor of cities. Many generations ago, Charles Dickens wrote David Copperfield from his experience as a survivor of institutional poverty and its damages to children in his society. Those problems have yet to be solved in ours. Dickens is not a prerequisite for readers of this novel, but he provided an inspiration. In transposing a Victorian epic novel to the contemporary American South, Barbara Kingsolver enlists Dickens' anger and compassion, and above all, his faith in the transformative powers of a good story. Demon Copperhead speaks for a new generation of lost boys and all those born into beautiful, cursed places they can't imagine leaving behind. For some reason, this reminded me of The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. It was also a very hard book, and it raised some of the topics mentioned here. So I'm really excited to read this book. From now on, you can probably start counting the word exciting, and let me know in the comments how many times I say that word, because I am excited about every single book I'm gonna show you today. Next book is the reason why I formed the whole order. I will show you the book and then tell you the story. It's the Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, the third book in Empyrean series. So when it only came out in Ukraine, when it was translated and came out, it was available only in one store, the publishers of this bookstore, and I could not order books from there to Canada, so I had to wait. And I was monitoring the website where I usually order books for around a month. When it appeared there, I instantly made an order. I paid for it. They said I had to wait for around 7 to 10 days. Okay, I agreed, but after 10 days, they texted me saying that this book is not available anymore. I was shocked, I was disappointed because I paid for it. I couldn't understand how that happened, but it appeared to be a mistake, because the next day they texted me saying that everything is all right and the book is still available and I will get it, but I had to wait 7 more days for some reason. Anyway, now I have this book and I'm really excited to read it, but I decided to listen to the first 2 audiobooks of this series just to refresh everything in my head. So right now I am listening / reading The Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, which is the second book and the thickest book. And why am I reading the book I read only a year ago? Yes, to refresh everything in my head, but that's surprising to me. Anyway, I do listen to this right now, and as soon as I finish, I will start the Onyx Storm, because I remember the ending of the second book and I need to know what will happen in this one. I got a couple thrillers which are supposed to be summary, but I'm not sure, in case I want to read a thriller in summer. And they are Before the Falling, is it how it's called? By Noah Hawley. Before the Fall, Noah Hawley. It has water on the cover, so for some reason I decided it's summary. And it's about a private jet full of wealthy, privileged people which crashes 12 or so minutes after takeoff, and only a couple not so wealthy people who for some reason were on that jet survived, and now it's a question if this was an accident or not. That's everything I know, but seems to be interesting. Next one is definitely summary, because it's taking, not summary, it's gonna be hot, because it's taking place during the worst drought in century, and while people are surviving that drought, 3 members of one family are found brutally slain, and federal police investigator comes to investigate this, but he had secrets with one of those family members, so it's gonna be interesting. I haven't read anything by Jane. Did I say it's called The Dry by Jane Harper? I haven't read anything by her yet, so if I decide to read some thriller in summer, this is probably going to be this book. And the last one was not in the package with all the other books. I found it on the marketplace for a really good price. Usually if I do find something that I like at least a little bit for a good price and I don't have to wait for it for months to come from Ukraine, I just buy it. It's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Has beautiful edges as well. It has 4.29 stars rating on Goodreads, which I didn't know. Pretty high, right? Let me read you the description. Everyone in Fairview knows the story. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend Celeste Ng, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Peep sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. But she can't shake the feeling that there was more to what happened that day. She knew Sal when she was a child, and he was always so kind to her. How could he possibly have been a killer? Now, a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project, at first just to cast doubt on the original investigation, but soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Cell innocent. And the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. The thing that a young girl investigates this murder makes me really skeptic about these books, because seems to me I'm not gonna like it very much. But as to high rating and the good reviews I heard about this book, I will give it a chance. This is also part of the series, the first book. There are 2 more books in the series. Then I have 4 books by one author, and that's Lucy Maud Montgomery, Canadian author. I said before that I really love reading Canadian authors right now because I live in Canada. And the first book is The Blue Castle. Very interesting kind of thin edition. If I show you, for example, this book, so it's, you see, like pretty thin. I heard only good reviews to this book. It has 4.31 rating on Goodreads, and everything I know, it's a story about a girl who was kind of not loved and criticized by her family and friends, but one day she decides she wants to change everything in her life and maybe change herself and love herself. The things I heard is that it's very kind and very heartwarming, something you need all the time in your life. So I think this is a book that you can take at any point and it will just warm your heart. So I'll probably read it if I feel sad and want to make my mood better. Anyway, I heard so many things that I'm really happy to have it on my shelves. And I also have first 3 books of Anne of Green Gables series, which are Anne of Green Gables, the first book, then Anne of Avonlea, the second book, and Anne of the Island, the third book. These 3 books, again, I mentioned them in my summer reading plans because I do want to read at least the first book. Everyone says it's great for summer. I think I need to read these to understand Canadians better, because this is the book 90% probably of Canadian people read when they were children. I don't like children's books, that's why I'm kind of afraid to start these, but I want to give it a chance because Anne is going to grow each book, so maybe the first one I will not like that much, but all the other ones I could really like. Anyway, I do want to give it a chance and I do want to love these books. I hope I will. And the first book is on my summer TBR. So hopefully I will tell you my review pretty soon. In case you don't know what these books are about, I will let you know. This heartwarming story has beckoned generations of readers into the special world of Green Gables, an old-fashioned farm outside a town called Avonlea. Anne Shirley, an 11-year-old orphan, has arrived in this verdant corner of Prince Edward Island only to discover that the Cuthberts, elderly Matthew and his stepsister Marilla, want to adopt a boy, not a feisty red-headed girl. But before they can send her back, Anne, who simply must have more scope for her imagination and a real home, wins them over completely. A much-loved classic that explores all the vulnerability, expectations, and dream of a child growing up. Anne of Green Gables is also a wonderful portrait of a time, a place, a family, and most of all, love. If the picture has changed somehow, that's because when I finished filming and was so happy that everything has gone smoothly and I did it in very short period of time, I realized that the video was filmed only like 30% of it, because after that there was not enough memory and the camera turned off but I didn't know about that. That's why I have to refilm this once again. I'm not as inspired because half of the day has passed and I am kind of tired by this point. But fortunately, my husband agreed to go for another walk with my son and I have a chance to do that. So let's move on with the books. I hear everyone right now talking about the prequel to The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. So I decided to read the original trilogy. I did watch the movies around 3 or 4 years ago, but fortunately for me, I have forgotten everything. So hopefully everything in these books will be a surprise for me. And I think the covers to Ukrainian editions are the same as the English ones. So the first book is The Hunger Games. The second is Catching Fire. And the third is Mockingjay. So this is a dystopian story about the country or a continent that used to be North America, but now it's called like the nation of Panem. There are 12 districts, and every year from each district, a boy and a girl from 11 to 18 years old are chosen to like go and play those Hunger Games. I don't remember why they have to do that. I hope they will explain this in the book. In the first book, there is this girl, Katniss Everdeen. She decides to like be a volunteer kinda because her younger sister was chosen and she doesn't want her to go there and die there. But she realizes that when she goes there, she will die there. And once she is there, she actually wants to win. But to win, she will have to start making choices that weigh survival against humanity and life against love. I do want to read these books right now, but I am planning to read the Onyx Storm first. For some reason, I think these are going to be one of my favorites. Maybe because I watched the movies and I remember loving them. We'll see. All the next books I think might wait for a little bit. I am excited about them, but not as much as about the previous ones. This book is on my summer TBR, so I hope to read it very soon. It's called 3 by Valerie Perrin, French author. 1986. Adrien, Etienne, and Nina are 10 years old when they meet at school and quickly become inseparable. They promise each other they will one day leave their provincial backwater, move to Paris, and never part. 2017. A car is dragged up from the bottom of the lake, a body inside. Virginia, a local journalist with an enigmatic past, reports on the case while also reflecting on the relationship between three friends who were unusually close when younger but now no longer speak. As Virginia moves closer to the surprising truth, relationships fray and others are formed. Valerie Perrin has an unerring gift for delving into life. In 3, she accompanies readers through a sequence of heart-wrenching events and revelations that span 3 decades. 3 tells a moving story of love and loss, hope and grief, friendship and adversity, and of time as an ineluctable agent of change. Forget everything I said before. I am really excited about this one. Hopefully you'll hear my review to this one by the end of summer. I love this summer cover and I want to go to the sea so badly. Beep! Next one I first found in a little free library. I read first page and I was intrigued. It was not on any of my plans. I didn't even know about this book, but I did like it. I did like the beginning. And I was not sure I will read it in English, so I decided to order it in Ukrainian edition. I also have 2 books by this author. So this is Dear Edward by Donna Napolitano. This is the English edition I found. And it's about a boy who was flying somewhere with his parents, but the plane crashed. It's, yes, another book where the plane crashes. And they do not survive, but he survives. I think he's the only one who survived among all the passengers on that airplane. And we will see how his life develops, what he's feeling, and like how everything is going after what has happened to him. I expect this book to be very deep and heartbreaking. Also, let me know which edition you like more, because it seems to me I prefer the English one. Anyway, I have two, so I will be able to decide which one to read. And then the second book, also by Anne Napolitano, I think cover is the same as the English one, Hello Beautiful. It's nominee for Reader's Favorite Fiction 2023, and I just noticed that it was first published in March 14, 2023, but I am still seeing it everywhere in the bookstores, so it's still popular, or maybe has just become popular. I'm not sure. Let me read the description. William Waters grew up in a house silenced by tragedy, where his parents could hardly bear to look at him, much less love him. So when he meets the spirited and ambitious Julia Padavano in his freshman year of college, it's as if the world has lit up around him. With Julia comes her family, as she and her three sisters are inseparable. Sylvie, the family's dreamer, is happiest with her nose in a book. Cecilia is a free-spirited artist, and Emmeline patiently takes care of them all. With the Padavanos, William experiences a newfound contentment. Every moment in their house is filled with loving chaos. But then darkness from William's past surfaces, jeopardizing not only Julia's carefully orchestrated plans for their future, but the sisters' unshakable devotion to one another. The result is a catastrophic family rift that changes their lives for generations. Will the loyalty that once rooted them be strong enough to draw them back together when it matters most? It's a family saga, found family trope. Should be a good one, I hope, but for some reason I think Dear Edward might touch me more. It's so hard to film and say all the same things twice, 3, 4 times. Like, I did it this morning already, and it was perfect, and it was so emotional, and I'm trying to show you the same emotions, but it seems to be impossible. So I would really appreciate a like and a comment, not mentioning the subscription, but at least like and comment will warm my heart. Please don't go by without that. The next book is probably not that popular because I haven't heard anyone talking about it, just one Ukrainian girl, and after her review I decided I want to read this one. It's called 9 Lives of Rose Napolitano by Donna Freitas. It's about a couple who married and in the beginning decided that they both don't want children, but as I think it usually happens, one of them, I believe in this book it's a husband, decides that he does want children, and the woman is not ready because she has a career, she's a professional, and she doesn't want to give up her life. And I do understand her very well, because life with kids does change a lot. So I'm not sure how it all will go and what she decides to do, because you know, she is the one to bear a child and she has to make the decision. And even if her husband wants it very much, like, okay, these are all my thoughts from this book. I expect to see her reflections and her thoughts on what she wants to do, because you know, if she doesn't want a child and he does want a child, they probably cannot be together anymore, because they have different wishes and plans on this life. So I hope to see how their relationship develops and what they decide to do, and if she decides to have a child, if she does, how her life will change and how she will manage it. If she doesn't, what will happen to her and her husband. But I remember that it might have a trope where like she appears in different variants of her life or something. I'm not sure, will not lie about that. Anyway, I know enough. This book does interest me already, so I don't want to know anymore. And hopefully... okay, so after you have counted the word excited, try to count the word hopefully and hope. How many times did I say that already? So I do hope a lot. I just don't know the synonyms to the word hope. I should look those up. Anyway, I want to read this book a lot, and I hope that will happen really soon. I'm very interested in books about children and childbirth and growing a child, but from the adult's perspective. So the previous book was kind of about that. The next book is kind of relatable. It's called Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I'm interested in a lot of Celeste Ng's books, but this one was on the first place, so that's why I took it. And it's about a girl who disappears because I believe she was under a great pressure from her parents, because they expected a lot from her. Her father expected one thing, her mother another thing. There was also, if I remember correctly, a sibling who kind of hated her or thought that there were a lot of problems because of her. I heard that this book is about what kind of parent not to be, how not to raise your child, and all about the expectations that parents put on their children and what these expectations lead to in the child's life. Should be a page turner, should be deep, should be heartbreaking. Oh my god, I wait for a book that will break my heart. I need that right now. There was also something about immigration, that her parents were immigrants or something, so that might put some pressure on her as well, because in the society I think there might be problems when you're not from the country you live in. But that's just my guess. I'm not sure about that at all. In the beginning of the video I said that this is going to be an Ultimate Ukrainian Editions book haul, but I actually have 3 books in Russian that I wanted to show you in the previous book haul but didn't, so I will show you them right now. First is Night in Lisbon by Erich Maria Remarque. This is the book I am currently reading. I am almost halfway through. It's about a guy who wants to escape from Europe during the Second World War, and he's watching these ship that will depart the next day, but he doesn't have money for the tickets. And then the stranger approaches him with 2 tickets, saying that he will give that first person these tickets if only he spends time with him and listens to his story. So we begin listening to this guy and his story and what happened to him, and I think we will eventually know why he wants to give his tickets to America to a stranger. I don't know what I think about this book yet, but I definitely like the writing style of Erich Maria Remarque. I am happy that I have some more books by him, and I will definitely buy more because he writes a lot about First and Second World Wars, and I'm interested in that as well. So you will hear my full review pretty soon to this one. Next one I also found in a little free library. First was interested, but as it is pretty thick, I realized I'll probably not read it in English, and I also want to understand books by this author well, not to miss anything, but in English I can because it's not my first language. And it's House Rules by Jodie Picoult. This is a hardcover edition that I found. Also, I'm keeping this one because I want to do a video where I compare Ukrainian, Russian and English editions. If you're interested in that, please let me know in the comments, because I might do that pretty soon. And the Russian edition looks like this, pretty, also pretty, but I will read you the blurb from this one. They tell me I am lucky to have a son who's so verbal, who is blisteringly intelligent, who can take apart the broken microwave and have it working again an hour later. They think there is no greater hell than having a son who is locked in his own world, unaware that there is a wider one to explore. But try having a son who is locked in his own world and still wants to make a connection. A son who tries to be like everyone else but truly doesn't know how. Jacob Hunt is a teenage boy with Asperger's syndrome. He is hopeless at reading social cues or expressing himself well to others, and like many kids with AS, Jacob has a special focus on one subject. In his case, forensic analysis. He's always showing up at crime scenes thanks to the police scanner he keeps in his room and telling the cops what they need to do. And he's usually right. But then his town is rocked by a terrible murder, and for a change, the police come to Jacob with questions. All of the hallmark behaviors of Asperger's, not looking someone in the eye, stimulatory tics and twitches, flat affect, can look a lot like guilt to law enforcement personnel. Suddenly, Jacob and his family, who only want to fit in, feel the spotlight shining directly on them. For his mother, Emma, it's a brutal reminder of the intolerance and misunderstanding that always threaten her family. For his brother Theo, it's another indication of why nothing is normal because of Jacob. And over this small family, the soul-searing question looms. Did Jacob commit murder? Jodie Picoult writes a lot about contemporary problems that are very common nowadays in America. And that's why I'm so interested in her books. She has plenty of them. So if you've read any, let me know which was your favorite and which one you would recommend, because this author might become one of my favorites as well. And then the last book for today is by one of my favorite authors, Archibald Cronin. It looks like this, and it has 3 stories in here. The Valorous Years, The Native Doctor, and Grand Canary. Nobody ever talks about Archibald Joseph Cronin on BookTube or BookTok, unfortunately for me, because I love this author. He's brilliant and his books are incredible. I hope one day I will make a video about his books, as I read 3 of them and have 3 more on my shelves and will buy more, will read more. I want to do that video because I want more people to read his books. I want more publishers to publish his books, but I will probably do that when I have at least 1,000 subscribers for more people to hear about him. So to make that happen sooner, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's fine, but if you watched this video till the end, you have to like and comment it. Well, you don't have to, but I will really appreciate that. In the comments, you might let me know which books you have bought recently, or if you have read any of the books I showed you today, maybe you want me to read them as soon as possible. Let's just chat in the comments. I love doing that. And thank you for watching this video till the end. I will see you in the next one. Bye.